came on yesterday, but it was so windy and crazy over here, and I was out taking care of a lot of stuff yesterday. By the time I got in, I was like, oh my God, what the hell? That wind is just out of this world. All right, so let me wait a few seconds before I get busy. Let me pull up the calendar. Welcome on in to Be So Light. I am your galactic spiral light priestess, Makala, who is coming to you live from Northern California, where today we have sunshine. And the sun is super coated today. And I got my rays on today. Yeah. Although I was a little confused because I thought today was Friday already. And it's funny, yesterday I thought it was Friday also. And I was just trying to go for an appointment that doesn't exist today. It only exists tomorrow. So I thought it was really interesting. So I just calmed myself down and went into what can make me feel this way? Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Talk about chocolate, chocolate. Yes, I've had some indulgements with chocolate yesterday, like chocolate raisinets and what's this other one called? The one with the hazelnut thing. Frugal, that one. Can't say that word. So there was a portal, a wave portal yesterday, and that one was specifically good energy for those who have that yellow crystal seed. So if you were being very creative yesterday and doing a lot, that was that you were in a moment of it. So let's talk. I want to talk about what's kind of going on. Now, first of all, I've been really, really busy. And that's probably why you haven't been seeing me very much. I've been busy with a lot of audio, meditational, nervous system support type of things that I just felt really inspired by. So I've been cranking out sometimes two um, different audio tapings for helping people with their nervous system and getting it all recorded. And I'm just simply just hitting record on my phone and recording it and putting my own sounds in it. But yesterday I tried to get really kind of like magical with what is that thing on my laptop called Garbage or something, Garbage Band. And I think I kind of figured it out, but not really, kind of. And I want to give a shout out to one of my Be So Light tribe members um, who really, 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 let me see if I can pull this up. Let's see if I can pull it up. Everyone, when you watch the video today, please put a like on it so that the algorithm will remember who I am. It's really, I'm not really sure how much longer I want to be on this platform because it's really a place where I just kind of come on and want to talk and do some quick teachings. But my main thing is being in the private groups and being there in the private groups, um, and doing a lot of my work with the private groups. So I want to say it is Pink Nikki. So please forgive me if I don't get your whole handle correct. I can't find that section I want to go into. Can't find it. Okay, but you know who you are because you wanted me to make you some of my ear clip. So let me explain these. So a friend of mine's, one of our spiral light practitioners, she went to a healing fair and she came back with a picture of copper ear cuffs. And had already been getting busy with ear cuffs. And I said, those are so cool. I wish I had some ear cuffs like that. And Spirit was just like, why don't you make them? And I was like, huh? Make them? Why do I make them? Now, I want to prove my theory here. I'm here on my YouTube channel, and it said 1, and up here is saying 0, 0. So now the AI thing, you can't trust anything that you see on the AI because it's straight up, it's telling me nobody's watching. I'm on here watching myself. Oh, now because I mentioned that, now it puts it back up there. So anyway, let me finish this thought, and I'm gonna get into some of the stuff that's going on. So I made them, I designed them, and I said, okay, I was just kind of, playing around. Oh, look, I got 2 people. So I was playing around, making them, and I said, I really like these, and I'm just going to make some. So I made my first pair, just a little basic spiral, just had one little spiral on it. Went out the next day wearing them. This guy just was like, wow, I really like those. Those are cool. And I said, okay, cool, thank you. So then I sat down and I said, well, let me make another pair. So I made another pair and I called these the spiral and the leaves that branch out. So I just went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to get those. So they're very lightweight. They're flexible. I make them where you can cuff them down. But she was liking them. And she says, I'd like to get some of those copper cuffs you want. And I said, really? And I kind of was caught off guard by it. And I said, and they fit just like this on your ear, just like that. And you can cuff them. Now, this whole portion of the ear right in here, this is dealing with arms, wrists, knees, any kind of, where's my little thingy? Da, 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 da. Where did I put it? Here it is. So it can be dealing with, like, where I'm pressing, it's dealing with ankles, knees, joints, wrists, arms, elbows, coccyx, pelvis, all this area right in here. Then when you get on the rims right here, this is dealing like if there's any disease factors going on. Okay. So I went ahead and answered the email and I made her the cuff and I told her, oh, $30. But as I was making them, I said, So I just sent her a thing because she was the very first one to ask me to make her a pair. First one. And I said, I'm just going to gift them to you. Because people have been gifting me things for the past several days and doing things. And I wanted to pass that on. So I wanted to gift it to her. And so I did. So I appreciate all of you. When you do see that it's loaded up, please go back in and resubscribe and hit the bell on everything, because as YouTube is becoming more like Hollywood, a lot of influencing beings are coming on. That's where this is what it's becoming. Now, I got to share something with you. Talk about chocolate. All right. Gotta share something with you. So I understand that yesterday energy was kind of like speeding up and it was doing a lot of crazy stuff. And I really felt it because as I was in the zone and I was designing the cuffs and everything, I was like, I started at a certain time. I remember I looked at the clock and I said, oh, it's about 5:45 something. Okay. So it felt like I was only kind of doing it for maybe about 20 minutes, 20, 15 minutes, and I already had like one of them made. So I looked at the time and it was going on like 6:45. I was like, what? Wait, I felt like I was only just in this for 15, 20 minutes. And I look at the time, it's almost like 6:45. I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? I said, did we time jump? And then lo and behold, the Schumann residence showed the grandmother from Puerto Rico sent me a picture of the Schumann of yesterday, a time jump, that we did a time jump. And I was like, you don't say. Thank you, Grandma. So I was like, wow, that's what I was feeling, because it went by. And that's why it was so like, what is the day? It feels like it's Friday, and it's not Friday. It was Wednesday, but I woke up this morning again thinking it was Friday, and I was getting ready for an appointment, and I was wondering why they weren't sending me any notifications. And I'm like, well, what is today? Wait a minute. And then come and find out it's Thursday. It's not Friday. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So there is some really interesting things going on. Now, I like it when I just get in this moment of quietness and when you start receiving those messages, you know what I'm saying? So I was getting really into the space of quiet. And there was something I was wondering about. And I said, why am I seeing so many of these people look very odd? And I'm thinking to myself, they look very odd. What is going on? And I started thinking, I said, you know what? I think that they are nothing but a bunch of alien beings disguised in human syntax covering. And they are assuming the identity of some of the stars. And they want us to follow the storyline that everyone's using, the different diet injections and stuff like that. And I said, you know, I'm a Capricorn, so my mind is going to go down the rabbit hole. So then I said, well, wait a minute. What if the big da-da, what if? Just a thought, you know. What if they just paint the theory that everyone is looking like that and is from using the different diet type of things, you know, the shots and stuff like that, Ozempic, whatever. I said, what if it was that? Because they keep saying that what it is, why they're losing so much of the weight. And I'm like, okay, are you ready for this? I just put it out there. Now, I don't know if you guys are having this fun thing where you just kind of get kind of quiet, and it's not a form of meditation. I'm just having a conversation with the divine. I'm just having conversation. I said, am I too far off track to think that maybe some of these people are not even human and they're just alien beings assuming the identity of some of these stars because they like that energy of being oogled over, worshipped over? You know, when you see stars, you go, oh, look at my favorite star from the movie, blah, 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 or my favorite star, da, 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 da. I don't think a lot of us are doing that very much anymore, especially some of them have been awfully naughty. And I'm finding ourselves doing things like, maybe they're not what you think they are. Maybe they are just beings who are just assuming the identity of others to get your attention, to get you to oogle over them, to give them what a interesting and free way to give your energy to them. Oh my gosh, I just love Brad Pitt. Oh my gosh, you know, I just love the blah blah blah. Oh, da, 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 you start naming off all these people and you start kind of giving them freely your energy. Now, let's go back to the halftime thing. You're probably wondering, I wonder how did Felicia feel about the halftime thing? First of all, I didn't watch the game, and you guys are going to get really, those of you that are football enthusiasts and all sports and stuff, you're going to get really upset with me because for the first time ever, I did not even know where the game was being played. I did not even know who was playing on Sunday. It was that bad. I go, well, who the hell's playing? I was so out of this third dimensional energy. I didn't even know who the hell was playing. All right. I didn't even know who was playing. I didn't know who was playing. I didn't know where they were playing. Okay. And that was pretty bad. But I always do my famous thing that I like to do every time for the Super Bowl. I never watch it. I just pick who's going to win. And I'm always on the money when I do it. And I love that. I crack myself up because I said, well, gosh, if I would have put money on it, I probably would have won, blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to be looped into all that kind of energy anyway. I just do it for the fun of it. So once I found out who was going to be playing, I already knew Bad Bunny was going to be doing the show. And I was like, wow, I really want to watch that halftime because I want to decode what he's singing about, what the energy is. I want to see what I can see. So finally I figured out, okay, it's playing here in California. Da-da, set down Santa Clara. Okay, fine. I was like, okay. So I figured that out. And then I was like, okay, so who are the teams? A Seahawks and the Patriots. I go, you don't say. Well, this is already easy. Who's going to win? I said, I already know. The Seahawks are going to win. They're going to win. No doubt about it. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I pick the Seahawks? Because I started thinking about Marital Law of the Waters. I started thinking about the waters. We've been inundated with the waters. Seahawks the sea, water, hawks. Hawks brings in vision. The water visions. And I was like, oh yeah, they're going to win. Okay, so speed forward to finally I get a chance to see what the score is. Seahawks win, hands down, I already knew it. And then I finally the next day watched the halftime show. And it was all in Spanish. I didn't have a problem with that at all. Now, here's where I find it very interesting. Last year we had Lamar doing his thing, Kendrick Lamar doing his thing. Okay. It was all brown people. Our people, copper people, indigenous people. Then this year we had another set of brown people. And I'm like, So last year they put emphasis on the people who were up on the light poles, bringing energy down, conduits. This time it was people up on the power grids of Puerto Rico because it still hasn't been repaired properly because it's weak. And every time when they go through a storm, that gets knocked out. And they need to be improving that. Okay, some areas are still out. They still don't have their power like they should. Okay, or it's super weak. So I paid attention to the feeling that what he was singing about and the way he was dressed and the numbers and the billboard, how the symbol in the billboard was back there. I was paying attention to all of that. Then when I saw the married couple, I said, oh, they're getting married for real. I felt the energy of it. I said, oh, they're getting married for real. Then come and find out later down the line, they were getting married for real. And then I was seeing how they were talking about they were in the fields with the sugarcane, but I was also feeling the energy of you need to understand America is the mixture of the people of America who made America what it is today. Not the ones that came over and took a lot of land away from people and did a lot of horrendous things, but the ones that came over that were in working the sugar fields, the tobacco fields, coffee field, all of those different things, anything that was over here that had that. These were people of culture. So I was just like, this is a time where they're like, you don't want to listen to us, you're going to listen to us now. And as the cameras was panning around, showing the face of some of the people in the crowd, people were like puzzled, like it's all in Spanish. Sometimes just because you can't speak the language doesn't mean that you can't feel the language. And a lot of times when I go to Puerto Rico, my Spanish is very little, but yet and still I can feel what they're talking about. My spirit father, who was all Spanish speaking to me, I understood everything he was saying to me. And he understood anything that I would say to him in English to him. And the family was astounded at how we communicated because we could feel it. And that's the one thing that is happening here in America is we have lost touch with feeling. We've lost the touch. We're too busy being angry. We're too busy scrolling. We're too busy trying to lose weight. What if that whole program wasn't what you thought it was? What if it was just another, like what happened 5 years ago, but just in a different format? Just saying. Because I thought it was very odd that I even asked my doctor, I wanted to try it out, and she was like, no. She was like, no. You got to sign a waiver. You're going to be on that the rest of your life. Are you kidding? No. We're going to go Mediterranean. I'm like, okay. And you know what? I really respect that because she was honest enough to say that. She wasn't about the money. She wasn't about, oh, she's going to put some money in her pocket. All right. So I thought the message was clear. One thing that's stronger than hate is love. I thought the message was clear. Now, I have no idea what the hell was going on with the whole other, like, I kind of got confused because I was like, well, what's this one? Who's this lady singing? Kid Rock and all that. I didn't know what was going on with that because I just thought it was kind of weird. And I didn't understand what was going on until after. And then I heard, oh, this is what they were competing against it to. I said, really? What grade are we in? Kindergarten? What is this? I'm sorry, you guys. But I was just paying attention to the energy and what they were doing. And I'm telling you something. I've noticed ever since the energy has just been increasing and moving up and everything, I've just been noticing how I'm feeling in tune with a lot of things. And I think it's great. I'm feeling the attunement. So then, yesterday, I thought it was really interesting how I was feeling, I was kind of doing a little bit of research, kind of scrolling, looking for some info, and I came across this one lady. I don't know what this video was. I can't remember what it was, but she made this comment, and I talked about it last year. She says, remember back in the day when you would get pulled out of the classroom and you thought you were special because you had to go take these tests and listening tests, the eyesight tests, and pulling the card tests, and da 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 da. Remember all those tests and putting these shapes together and doing these equations and da 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 da. They had you in this room. They said you're special. Says that's not a part of being special. They just wanted to keep an eye on you because they knew you were going to be a problem in the programming. And I said, oops. I said, oops, 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 oops. And I started thinking about it. And I said, really? They're scared of me, remembering me. Too late. So then I went down a rabbit hole, and being that I have a nursing background and degrees and graduated from nursing school, and now I'm retired from all that, I went down this rabbit hole about anesthesia. And I was listening to this one video that was talking about anesthesia, what it does, the drugs that they give, how important it is when they wipe out your memory, your consciousness, detach you from your consciousness. Then I went down the rabbit hole. Pay attention, because this is going to spark something. Then I went down the rabbit hole and I was listening to people who talked about when they had to get certain heart surgeries done. Now, I know this for a fact because I worked with a lot of patients back in the day who had bypass surgery, who had to have a cabbage done, and this means a whole recirculating of artery veins and stuff to circulate past all the bad part, to get the blood to flow in that part of the body again, of the heart and everything. And I remember a lot of people were constantly talking about how different they felt after their heart attack or having open heart surgery. Okay. And that what they came back with. Now, I was listening to this one man who was talking about it. He says, yeah, I had to have open heart surgery, and they put you on this bypass machine. I think it's a bypass thing, that while they're working on you, everything's being taken, is keeping you alive while they're doing this, right? He said when he got back into himself and was coming out of surgery, he didn't feel right. He felt very disconnected. And I was like, disconnected? Interesting. And that happens with a lot of people who have heart surgery, who, when you think about it, our heart is the center of our connection to source. When we go straight up, we're connected to source. Okay, we're connected to the divine. When you have to have heart surgery and someone's in there in the space of that, it disrupts your divine connection. So when you come out of it and you're coming back into your body and you're trying to get back on track, you start feeling like, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel like I'm with it. I don't feel like I'm here. I don't feel like, you start having all these things happen. And so now you start feeling like you're discombobulated, not connected. And this is where reconnecting back into the nervous system, back into your heart space, calling yourself back and reconnecting and saying, whatever interference that I experienced during my surgery, I now ask for my divine self to realign me back through my divinity of me. Realign me back to source. And then when you connect back to source, you'll feel that surge of your connection. But you have to call it back in because you were disrupted. So anybody out there, that's having some issues and they've had problems in the heart itself, and there's been something that happened that kind of put them in a disarray, have them call themselves back. Have them place their hands on their heart to call themselves back, and then visualizing, aligning to the divine source of all there is of divine light and love. And that will help recenter them back in. Okay, because technically speaking, if they were being kept alive by an artificial machine or so while the process was happening, they are still connected to that energy and not understanding. They feel that emptiness, which brings on depression, which brings on this weird feeling, not feeling like yourself, feeling, you know, like you got highs and lows of everything going on. So if you know anybody that is experiencing that energy, please allow yourself to connect with that. Tell them to connect back into that. So I thought those were some interesting things that I was coming across. Not to mention all this stuff with the island. I understand what has happened and taken place and everything's coming out, but don't you find it kind of odd? Like all of a sudden now they're just blatantly flooding us with all this information where they hesitated and struggled to release anything. But like I said, if you were on top of everything back in 2017, back in 2016 and 2018 before they closed the door, where you weren't able to see all of that and they didn't want people to know all of that, you already know what they're talking about. To me, it is like it's old news, and it's stuff that's still happening because they just keep getting away with it. So, not for long. Because what's coming, if your frequency is not right, yeah, for what's coming. And that's the one thing I know for a fact, that I'm on the right track, where I've really been working with the practitioners, the priestess in my private groups, getting them ready for next week as we move into this really time warping energy, which I find, to me, that's going to be kind of interesting, because here's the thing. The energy is going to be intense, but when I look at what the weather is going to be, all next week is supposed to be raining. All next week. Not saying that we would have saw it anyway, because like I said, anything that pops up from the sun, we're going to feel it. We're going to feel it first before it's seen. So they are in this thing. Now, think about this. In the movie Men in Black, they use a device and they flash it to make you forget, right? What if the sun, when it does its flash, it makes you remember? What if every time when you step outside or you look outside your window and you make contact with the sun, it makes you remember? Yeah. It's a little late for them to be trying to do all that. And the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of you are going to be experiencing that. So right now, the fact that I'm on right now, they are blanketing and making it where nobody can find me. Okay? That just makes me feel special, that I'm on the right track. And there's many more of people like me out there that are going through the same thing, that are on the right track. So now, because of the amount of people that I have contacted or have subscribed to me or what have you, they are already in tune. They already are aware of what's coming. Ah, yeah. Better get some chocolate ready. All right. So just pay attention to the magic of everything, how everything is shifting right now. How, when we're talking about this integrity, harmonizing model integrity coming into this, because after this one, we go into the moon of intention. We're in moon 8 now of our galactic moon. So this is that, what is our truth and integrity of ourselves? What are we not willing to be compromised by? And how are we, I was watching the movie Moonfall. And I know I'm saying a lot of different things, but if you're a part of this family and Be So Light, I talk in these waves of codes. And you can get what I'm saying. Moonfall. Okay. So in Moonfall, there was this AI technology that got out of hand, got out of control. So it makes you kind of think, okay, well, we are wondering why, when you're sitting around your phones and your laptop, how is it able to know what you're thinking? How is it able to bring up something for you and you didn't even talk about it? It just knows what you're thinking. How old do you think this technology really is? Or how long it's been out? Of the one what they allow us to have. Because they have all the other ones. And not to mention that all the technology stuff that they have, they're able to go move in and out of different portals at will, going to different places, okay, outside of this construct. Like when we talk about Stargate 10, that is going to be needing to get surged up, that is a really interesting one, how that one is aligned with the so-called year energy of a 10. That's a 1. Maybe that one starts it all off. So do some research, all of you. Go look up those things on different things of stargates and the ley lines where they cross and how they form those activated stargate portals. And when you go to those, how it literally shoots you off somewhere else. I've heard too many times stories of people that were in New York doing something. They went and crossed over something. They don't know what they crossed over. And the next thing you know, they find themselves somewhere in California and don't know how they got there. And they're like, wait a minute, what? How did this happen to me? But they get ignored, shoved underneath the carpet as a situation that has to be controlled because somebody stumbled into something. Oh, it's going to be a lot more of that. Because everything is being rearranged by Mother Earth, how she's moving. Everything is shifting, recalibrating itself. Kind of like those things, how we used to look in the kaleidoscope? Remember how, and you would be so fascinated when you look in the kaleidoscope, you would see all the different shapes and the different colors and stuff. Mother Earth is going through her kaleidoscope moment right now. She's shifting in all these different ways. So I just find it fascinating what's going on right now, and I just can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Because at this point, I got nothing to lose but to see it all through. So with today being the 12th, the red cosmic serpent, yeah, we're looking at this one. So it says here, I endure in order to survive, transcending instinct. I seal the store of life force with cosmic tone of presence. I am guided by the power of universal water. The color is red. Meldak is the planet. The chakra is the crown. And then we have the polar for the family and the message. We do have a rune. It says, come back. The superhuman endowed with cosmic consciousness to know that it is androgynous, ever-evolving interval of expansive cosmic enlightenment. So we're talking about sixth mental sphere consciousness, as well as the sixth dimensional limbic force field. Everything that's taking place here. And gate 402, when you add the 4 and the 2, is a 6. So we got a kin number 65 going. We got a lot of 6 energy going on. And then tomorrow is going to be Friday the 13th. Yay! Remember how they used to have us so afraid of Friday the 13th for no reason? They even made movies Friday the 13th of some psychopath running around doing all that crap. Remember that, Jason? Running around doing all that stuff to make us more fearful of Friday the 13th, telling us all this stuff. But really, Friday the 13th is really sacred to woman because it's about the sacredness, power of woman. Just find it very interesting how they, gosh, you know, by the time we figure out ourselves, I'm looking to see where this one is. By the time we figure out all the stuff and we come into ourselves, it's time to evolve again. But this time, it won't be so hard to come back with memory. I'm wondering if there is a rune in this one. I only have this Jera. Okay, I'll have to go into the thing and find that out. Because that's the opening to open. Runes. Here we go. Oh. All right, let's see. Okay, there it is. So it is called the Kentrust. It looks like this. And Kinza, and it is a light shearing touch, or excuse me, a light shearing torch that initiates the transcending. Oh, wow. So this is a torch. So actually the symbol goes in this direction, and it is the light shearing torch that initiates the transcending. That's what this one means. Amazing. Okay. So I just wanted to bring you this. For this info as you are moving through it, and really pay attention to supporting your body, taking the time to support your nervous system, taking the time to support your body, and bringing in the healing that you need to be bringing in. Interesting. It says I have the card in here, but I don't see the card in here. And I know I pulled that one before because it's the one that says horny goat weed. Unless it's stuck to a card, which would probably be the case. That's so weird. I'm like, I pulled that card before. And I don't know about you, but are you feeling this thing of like, it's not so much missing time, but you can see things that are just in a different way. Yeah, that card's not even in here. So that card is somewhere else. Interesting. Now I'm going to have to hunt for that card. It's probably stuck in one of my other card set. It'll come popping itself up somewhere. All right, let's get on with the read of the day. I want to close it out. Thank you so much for being here. Now, I know that most of you are not going to be able to see this until after it's post because YouTube likes to put me on later because I'm the problem child. So happy they spend so much time acknowledging me. Thank you, YouTube. Days are numbered. Anyway. Yeah, that energy comes through. This is just going to flatten out a lot of stuff. It's going to be interesting. Anyway. But it's not going to be devastational because there's a lot going on behind the scenes that a lot of us are not paying attention to and you're not seeing. And it's because the way things are working. Universe. Let's do a message from the Queen of the Sun Oracle. Yes. Yes. Let's do a message. Yeah. Yeah. Queen of the Sun Oracle. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Can you tell I'm having a good time later on today? I plan on having some wonderful salmon and, some goodness. Ooh, I love this. Oh. Okay, and then the last one. So, I find this really interesting. The first card that comes up is Protection Sekhmet. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. First thing that comes up. And then the next one that comes right after that is Soul Ubiquitous. Life. So protect life. Then we have the next card that says the sun is the center. Look at that. We got the sun card. Yeah, it's kind of doing all of this stuff right now, isn't it? Then there is this beautiful card that says the vitality, but look what they're doing. So we got a lot of 2, 14, 44, and then we got this number here, 31. That's that 4 energy. Then we got, mental health. We got to take care of the mental health. That's that 1 and 6 makes a 7. Mental health. And then being prepared for the unexpected. Here's another 4. And it's the flares. Look at that. I love these cards. The flares. Unexpected flares. We're already going through that. So let's take a look at our talisman. So right now I just like I said, I've been busy recording a lot of audio for nervous system support. And the results, after one listens to the audios, the things that they're doing right after the activations that happen, because I do my famous naming off those numbers. We had cast away the negativity. We're going to cast away the negative. Look at how it's a snake. Not saying a snake is a bad thing, but there's certain beings that represent that. So that talisman, cast away the negativity. Kind of get rid of that energy. All right. So my last pull, let's do Beyond Lemuria. Says we already know about the sun. So I feel like there's a lot of energy that's just recalibrating a lot of us right now. And you're probably feeling that. So here is this one. Says root chakra, ground and center. Yes, we got to get grounded and center for sure. Root chakra, ground and center. Then on top of that, we need to stay in harmony flight. Staying in that harmony flight. Love it. Staying in harmony flight. And our last card message. Move into a place of healing. Whatever needs to be healed, bring it into healing now. Take that time to sit back and really, a lot of us are carrying that place of where you need to do that healing for yourself in your childhood, going back to that childhood and doing the healing for that, going back and doing some forgiveness work, going back into those places where you kind of just shut it off and it's just been this, like, not really sure how to feel about this, but moving out of that energy. So just remember your breath. All right, lovely. It's been fun coming on, giving you some heads up moments and getting you to align with that moment that's coming. I'm not sure when I'm coming back on. I just know, I just kind of move with the moment because, like I said, I've been really busy with my other groups and doing things with that. And just kind of looking at where I'm needed. And I love the fact that the universe is just really talking and giving information to you if you take the time to listen. So you have to listen. Don't get bogged down with a lot of unnecessary fear-mongering stuff that's going on these platforms. I mean, it's everywhere. They're the fear-mongering. You got to ask yourself who's saying what, when, where, and why, and what's the intention behind it. You have to remember the game plan is to keep you confused, keep you out of your upgrades, and to keep you from remembering who you are. That is the game. And right now, no. Just by saying I don't consent to your energy, I don't consent to your programming, I don't consent to your artificial light and your artificial God energy that is always condemning and throwing us in a lake of fire. I don't consent to that either. I am connected to the one true source, the true divine, who is all about the love. And that's it. And comes from love. And that's it. So, with that being said, in your Christ consciousness way, have a great day. Be good to yourself and take care of yourself. And thank you for being a Be So Light tribe member, coming here and doing the work and picking up on your messages. Just know I'll come on, leave things here. If you get the ring a ding ding or not, just know and come and check. Okay? Because right now, a lot of us are getting pushed down to not be seen. But honey, I'm gonna be seen. Rather, it's on here or not. I don't care. When I'm out in the world, I'm going to be seen. When I'm in my space, I'm going to be felt to emanate that one thing that kills anything off that's negative. LOVE. Love. All right. And on that note, lovelies, remember the divine magic of yourself. Just love yourself. Fall in love with you.